What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Oasis Network. Oasis Network has recently blasted in to the top 100, doubled in price in about the last 5 days. So I want to dive into this and look at why it's a good coin, and it is. Before I do, as always, update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would crash it in this bull cycle. Had you invested $100 into each one when I released the videos and you were still holding the bags, you'd be in profit at 66.4k. Add in the 26 you invested, you'd be sitting on 69k. I've held them all and I've closed positions on them all, and I've reinvested that money into new cryptos. And if you want to see what I'm in, you can check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share my portfolio, one that I've built to maximize gains during this bull cycle, one that keeps outperforming the market week in and week out. I bang on about this every video at the moment, and I'm going to continue to do so. Bank your profits, guys. Bank your profits in the bull cycle. Don't try and get out at the top. Bank along the way. You sleep better. And then stay in the market. Because when the bear cycle kicks in, and it will kick in, the market will retrace and everything's on discount. It's like a 2-year Black Friday. It's an opportunity to get in on cryptos that are winners at hugely undervalued prices. All I do during the bear cycle is look for those coins that are hugely undervalued compared to the proposition that they offer. I found Phantom during the bear cycle. That's up 399 times in value. At one point in the cycle, it was up about 680 times. And when I find those gems, I'm going to be sharing them with the Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be a part of it, you can check it out. Right, Oasis Network. Oasis Network has a really strong team, a hell of a list of backers. There's a lot to break down here. So before I start talking about what the tech is, let's talk about the integrations and the investors. So it's been integrated into multiple different areas. As you can see, some absolute beasts within this ecosystem. They're node operators. Again, they've got massive node operators. And then if you're looking at the backers, they've had A16Z, Excel, Pantera, Polychain Capital, just to name a few. There's actually a lot more than that. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've got XRP, isn't it? Yeah, Arrington's XRP Capital portfolio is there. Blockchain Capital portfolio, Dragonfly Capital portfolio, Kinetic Capital, Huobi Capital portfolio, Pantera. Oh no, I mentioned Pantera. Winklevoss Capital portfolio. Absolute beasts. Absolute beasts. The team themselves have worked in some of the biggest industries within the world, and biggest businesses within the world. In terms of their past history, you've got people that have worked for Google, Amazon, Goldman Sachs, UC Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon, Stanford, Harvard, and they're committed to grow this network. So Oasis Protocol is designed for the next gen of blockchain. The Oasis Network is the first privacy-enabled blockchain platform for open finance and a responsible data economy. Combined with its high throughput and secure architecture, the Oasis Network is able to power private scalable DeFi, revolutionizing open finance and expanding it beyond traders and early adopters to a mass market. But they can also create a new type of digital asset called tokenized data that can enable users to take control of the data they generate and earn rewards for staking it with applications, creating the first ever responsible data economy. Now, what I want to talk about here is data fundamentally is where the money is. Okay, so little short story, right? In Africa, they developed something called the M-Pesa, right? Which was basically a mobile Pesa. But what it was people could pay each other by text, literally, and that was how it was. The most simple technology. You just needed a Nokia 3210. It wasn't even good tech, right? But it was so simple, and it allowed a new payment system to be incorporated in Africa. And Zuckerberg realized this. Zuckerberg actually went down to Africa to meet the creators of the M-Pesa, because what he'd seen was an opportunity. Now, the M-Pesa actually ended up doing phenomenal things for some of the businesses in Africa, one of which grew staggeringly well because of the ability to take payments via that. But the money wasn't the money wasn't with the fact that you could text and make money and earn money. Zuckerberg realized that the money was with the data, because that M-Pesa network that was set up effectively allowed you to figure out the data of millions and billions of microtransactions per person. You know, everyone that was sending those, that was processed, and you could figure out a pattern of behavior. And Zuckerberg realized this. And actually part and parcel of how he implemented many of the facets of Facebook was through having a conversation with the creators of the M-Pesa, because what you can then do is go, right, so I know they make payments regarding one individual makes payments at these particular stores. So then they can be targeted with adverts via text and da-da-da-da-da. So same principle was applied through Facebook. So then if you notice now, if any of you go on Facebook, you can see that the info or the suggested readings and all the other stuff that's with Facebook is targeted to you as an individual, because it's based upon your search history, things you look at. And this is where money is. Big data is huge. You know, Apple do the same thing. You know, once when they created the Apple Store, you know, part and parcel of that was to create a new payment economy. And the data for your search history through, you know, I think is it Safari that Apple use? I think it is. You know, that was tracked, and then you began getting more and more targeted ads. And now, you know, unless you deny all cookies, your ads are targeted constantly. And the idea for a new data economy is actually very, very interesting. And the fact that you've got people like the Winklevoss twins having this as part of their portfolio shows the importance. So while I am bullish on the private and scalable DeFi, I think fundamentally DeFi is going to be such a wide space that this could do insanely well. You know, private DeFi, scalable DeFi, always going to be positive, particularly with lending and loans, right? But tokenizing data is something that can bring true innovation and true change. The question is the level of adoption that it earns, right? But when you're looking at data tokenization, so the whole idea is that the data consumer, say, sends payment via the Oasis network, right? And he'll earn some rewards. The data provider can stake the data, and the data consumer again receives the awards, receives the results. So what you end up with is an ecosystem where everyone's sort of making some level of profit from this. Now, right now they've got a few apps that are starting to leverage data tokenization on Oasis. So there are a few. Binance Crypto Safe Alliance. So crypto theft and attacks are obviously on the rise. The Crypto Safe platform was developed by Oasis Labs and Binance to allow exchanges to share threat intelligence data. Because of the Oasis network's support for confidential compute, exchange data is kept confidential even while it's being compared. So it allows your Binance and your KuCoin to compare and see if there's a threat on both sites, or if there is a threat to either exchange. You've got Fortune 500 healthcare provider. So they wanted to share data with external parties while retaining control of the data and protecting the confidentiality of patient data, because obviously The moment that they share that, if you can see the private information of someone, that's a GDPR breach, and a massive one when it's talking about your own healthcare records. So Oasis Labs built an API that, for this leading company that's able to track, trace, and control data even when it's shared with third parties. And you've got Nebula Genomics. So they wanted to differentiate their product from other competitors by giving their users control of their genetic data. So customers can retain ownership of their genomic data, and Nebula Genomics can run analysis on the data without seeing the customer's raw information. Again, so you're not breaking a GDPR breach. And make no mistake about it, GDPR breaches costing companies ridiculous money. You know, in the UK, every single company has to have money delegated, and they have money put to the side in preparation when there could be a GDPR breach. So Oasis can solve a problem for a lot of these big companies, but as well as that, this is scalable for an individual level. You know, if they can start working on, if you can start working with them in terms of how your searches or your search histories work, this bodes really well. Like, I can see potentially an alliance between the Oasis network and someone like, say, Brave Browser, that work very hard in terms of trying to certainly tailor advertisements to you. There's a potential there with that sort of, both of whom have the same sort of perspective of trying to ensure that your privacy, that your searches remain private, but your data isn't given away, because your data is your value in this sort of digital age. And we know that because how did Google make their money? How did Facebook? How did Apple? All these stores make their money because their data allows them to provide, as a most simple level, provide advertisers, or advertisers can use the data that they've received to tailor adverts to the right people. Targeted ads. How many times have you clicked on one ad and then you see it everywhere? All the time, every day. It's very, very, very clever the way these things work now. And the Oasis network has got a real potential here to solve that problem. And I know they've got so much more going on than the data, but the tokenizing data for me is the big thing for this. This is what sets Oasis apart in the biggest way. Having parallel smart contract layers, that's great, and we do have other cryptos that have sister networks that run in parallel. You know, we've got whether it was like Horizon, we're one of the first to have that. We've got, technically, Polkadot's got all the parachains, you know. And while, again, it's a very efficient and it's very good, it's good tech, it's the most unique thing about this is the tokenization of data, combined with all these other things, right? Because there's another project or two out there with tokenized data, but this, for me, has huge potential. Huge potential. Because I could see these, and I'm not sure if it will ever reach the individual in terms of us being able to leverage our own data via Oasis, but particularly for companies, this could be massive. It could be absolutely massive. And their developments have obviously been very impressive. As for the token itself, so the ROSE token is the name of the Oasis network token. So it's the native token. So it's used for staking, delegating, and for the smart contract operations that require fees. So it's it's a utility token. So it's capped at 1.5 billion, but the total fixed is 10 billion. So they're already at about 3.45 billion, if I'm right, 3.949 billion. So there'll only ever be 10 billion. Now, obviously, you can stake it as well. So we'll have a look at the staking rewards in a sec. But yeah, like for me, a token has to have utility, otherwise what's the point, right? And there's multiple ways of utility, but if you've got a blockchain, it's got to be utility. So here is Oasis's staking rewards. 1.9 billion is staked right now. 1.99 billion. So more than half of the tokens currently are staked. So you can delegate or you can run a validator node. Validator nodes are, if you're newish to crypto, or even if you've been in a while, validator nodes can be a pain in the arse, but delegating it is fairly bloody straightforward. The rewards, 13.69%. Now that's APR as well. So when you're compounding, that goes up pretty well. So hypothetically, if you were staking 1,000 USD or 1,000, let's just say, yeah, let's say 10,000 ROSE, because that's easier. You'd be earning per month 112 ROSE, so that'd be 1,368 per year. Now, if you can be bothered to compound it, all of a sudden it changes quite dramatically. And all of a sudden, your compounding gains will be a bit more. So, as you can see, the percentage changes pretty well. So it's gone. So at the, let's say, Binance staking as an example, 14.38% to 15.47%. Staking, compounding is absolutely the thing to do if you're going to be staking, because, you know, what's it? Warren Buffett says it's compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Seventh wonder of the world, 8th wonder. But yeah, so in terms of potential for ROSE, I mean, in this cycle, I mean, fundamentally, it's in overbought territory right now. If you check on TradingView, you can see the RSI is very, very high right now. I would, on the daily anyway, I would be expecting that Oasis will probably have some level of retracement right now. It already has, because it peaked at 45 cents, but I'd be expecting it to retrace before potentially running again. In this cycle right now, you know, maybe $1, maybe $1.50. It's not going to do too much more than that in this cycle. Not that I can see anyway. In the next cycle, though, bear in mind, by that point, we're going to have a far greater circulating supply. But this, if they're working with the sort of titans of the industry in terms of data, this could be a $20 or $30 billion coin. So depending on how much it retraces in the bear cycle, this could be a phenomenal investment. You know, you got to bear in mind as well, such big hitters that have got long-term perspectives on this. And you know, big hitters, they make mistakes as well, but this to me looks like a really strong potential. Like I said, the data for me is where the money is here. And while I don't think necessarily in this cycle right now it's the best investment, because I don't think there's tons of room for growth, during the bear cycle I think this will retrace a lot. I think we'll see it back down to about 4 or 5 cents, and that could be a phenomenal investment for the next bull cycle. Anyway, that's it from me. Hope you're all keeping well. If you're new to crypto, or if you've been here a while, check out Copy My Crypto. Like I said, it's where I share my portfolio, the one I've built to maximize gains during the bull cycle, and the one that keeps outperforming the market. And make no mistake about it, whether it's 2 months or 4 months or 6 months, there's going to be a bear cycle, and it's going to last for 1.5 years, 2 years, and in that time, I'm going to be finding the gems that are hugely undervalued and sharing them with Copy My Crypto members. And they're the retirement investments we make. And if you want to be a part of it, you can check it out. Anyway, take care.